In episode 1 of Synagogues of Michigan, we take a look at 4 cities nestled in the middle of the state. As the map indicates, the first one we'll look at is Bay City, followed by Saginaw, then Mount Pleasant, and finally Midland. And they are not that far from each other. So, we begin with Bay City. Not too many years ago, this was called Temple Israel. It was affiliated with the conservative movement, but in 2010 it agreed to merge with Congregation Bethel of nearby Saginaw. Bethel was a Reformed temple. The merged congregation is now called Temple Beth Israel and is affiliated with the Reform movement. What makes this a little odd is that the building in Bay City is much larger and more convenient as a house of worship than the one that was in Saginaw. And at the time of the merger, the Bay City congregation had about 70 members, whereas the one in Saginaw had only 30 members. Yet they agreed to the stipulations required by the Saginaw congregation. This included loosening the restrictions for the kosher kitchen. We will now show you what had been the site of the Saginaw congregation. As you can tell possibly from this shot that the Saginaw congregation had been in a shopping mall. We will now take a look at 2 congregations in other cities that cooperate with each other. This is home to Temple Benjamin in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. The congregation does not provide much information other than they and the one to the east of them in Midland help each other out in the arrangement of alternate Friday evening Shabbat services. They've even shared services and occasions with the synagogue in Bay City. The congregation is also affiliated with the Reform movement. And now on to our 4th synagogue in Midland. This is Temple Bethel. It is also a Reformed congregation and makes the use of visiting rabbis. This building became a synagogue in 1957 and was for several years part of the conservative affiliation. It was in the year 2000 when it switched to the Reform movement. With less and less Jews living in this area, all 3 of these remaining houses of worship in these 4 communities rely on helping each other out and finding new ways to sustain their presence in the middle of Michigan. And so ends episode 1 of Synagogues of Michigan. More to come. See you real soon.